what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Double XP. It's me, Logan, here. I'm joined by Danny Flores, and we have a special guest today, comedian Josh Florhaug, comedian from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's performed all over the country at improvs, laugh factories, and a comedy and magic show in Los Angeles. He's based out of Los Angeles, and thankfully he's joined us here today to talk about some video games and I don't know.
Video game accessories.
Video games accessories.
I'm more into video game accessories than I am games. So I'm really happy that your guys' podcast.
I got some fresh controllers I can wear with my outfit.
I got some really good sweat guards for my PlayStation controller because my hands get clammy.
Got some game juice.
What's game juice?
I don't know. I'm just... You can
that has to be a company or something.
Yeah,
like
there's Game Fuel. Isn't that what Mountain Dew did for a little bit?
I thought Mountain Dew was Game Fuel. They didn't have to change it.
They had to
they have
specify.
these new ones that instead of having a regular can that pops open, it has like a plastic lid that like pushes back.
Oh, so
no benefit. It just looks cooler.
Okay. I thought it was like because you're gaming so hard that you can't open a can of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, can't be bothered with such.
Yeah, I can't be opening this can and opening a can on some kids in Call of Duty.
I don't know. I've always
Yeah,
liked
exactly.
The Jolt can have always just been quick pop-offs, and then you never ever have the lid anywhere.
I like
always
the Monster can that you have because then you can drink. You don't have to drink all of it.
I always end up drinking all of it.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah.
You don't chug, dude?
No, I'm
You don't shotgun Monster?
I have such a weak body where it's like that would be too much caffeine.
like if I have stuff that I have to like finish, and I like if I'm gonna start a diet and I have like a big bag of candy in my pantry, I'm not gonna be like, well, I'm starting my diet, I need to throw that away. I'm like, well, I got to eat all this candy tonight before I start my diet.
Oh, that's how all my diets start.
That's
is
okay.
when I'm fully out of food, I'm like, all right, get to start fresh.
Yeah.
And then I'm just not gonna buy bad food. And then I go grocery shopping. I buy healthy food. I eat all that, and I'm like back to chips.
Yeah.
I can't diet if I have cookie dough mix in my pantry.
Yeah.
I never have who has cookie dough mix?
Normal
it's
people.
very
Really? You just
flour,
carry it?
brown sugar, and chocolate chips, cookie dough, and
Also,
then an
you
egg and
damn.
butter.
Yeah.
You're an
Also, you
alchemist.
can just buy it, and then you can make. Here's the deal. Would you rather buy Chips Ahoy, or would you rather have fresh homemade cookies, which only take about 6 minutes?
That's not 6 minutes. That's like you have to preheat, which is like 10 minutes, and then you have to keep them in there. And if you take them out in 6 minutes, it's gonna be like all gooey and not good.
Oh, you mean super good when it's all gooey?
It's just mush.
Wait, but that's a bad thing?
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Chips Ahoy, chewy. That's the
Those are
best
really
part.
No, those are
Yeah,
not.
they're like
as good as
pre-soaked in
fresh
milk.
cookies.
Yo, if I'm gonna get like real into this, like, have you ever made like s'mores, but instead of marshmallows and graham crackers, you use Reese's peanut butter cups and chewy Chips Ahoy?
All of
Yes.
this stuff makes
Yes.
great game fuel, by the way.
Yeah, this is gaming to me. Is
Yeah.
eating like this.
So we like
Big
to
game eater.
psychoanalyze people on here. For gaming, when was the gaming moment for you when you were like, oh, I like that thing?
When I
Or-
started gaming,
yeah. Well, I mean,
I
and
started
what
playing.
Was it? What
I
was
started
it?
playing games at a really young age. My dad bought a Nintendo. I'm 33, so probably like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
And then I played Mario, and then they bought me like learning games. So I had like the Sesame Street Nintendo
Okay.
game and stuff like that. So my whole memory is of like my life. I've always played games.
That's educationally speaking. I mean, we're talking early '90s.
So that was probably the first wave of things like that,
That-
of educational video games.
Yeah,
Like
but that couldn't have been a good game though. Like,
it was like
probably
I
really
remember
bad.
it being like basic counting and basic spelling.
Yeah.
I-
You didn't even get to hop on anything.
I remember a Ferris wheel, and you had to click on the letters that spelt like the word that they wanted you to spell.
Wow.
I remember there was on a computer there were some educational games like Magic School Bus and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Which
Mavis Beacon.
I forget how the gameplay was. It was like point and click stuff, but occasionally there was a game. I think it was Super Mario Learn to Type, and it was having to get you to type, and you have to press like a keyboard, and you have to type along a sentence. But it was also like by tapping a certain key in the right moment, Mario would do certain movements. It was fucking torture. I hated it, and I never learned how to type that.
That
I just
seems
learned
kinda
how to
cool,
type
though.
like a chicken, though.
You
You know,
just
I mean, idea is great, but for a 5-year-old kid or
Okay, yeah.
6, it's just like,
That'd make a cool
I
racing
just want to
game.
go.
yeah. I just wanna like smash some blocks. You know,
Turtles?
I
I just want to
yeah,
kill
wanna crush
turtles.
somebody.
Kill
I don't-
turtles. Stomp them
you
out.
know. But Other than that, other educational games.
I think I was done with educational games after like 7.
Yeah.
After I got old enough, and I was like, I'm just gonna play. My parents got divorced. My mom's like, you can play whatever you want now.
Nice. Oh, so were there ever any moments where like there were games that were just okay? You're not allowed to play this.
No, my mom didn't censor us at all. She thought that we wouldn't learn sarcasm and things if we were censored from things.
God, that's so awesome.
Because I talked to her about it now. I'm like, you let me watch South Park when it first came out. So I was like 10. And, like, took me to go see the South Park movie, and I saw basketball and all that stuff when I was little, and I was like, you let me watch that. No other kids got to. And she's like, yeah. And those kids didn't learn sarcasm and, like, how to be quick-witted and things like that because they didn't get to watch those movies and be involved in those activities.
Okay.
So I wasn't censored ever in my life.
I really, like, I don't think I might censor my kids now that I, like, know.
Yeah,
how, like,
because it's, like,
normal and
sarcasm.
chill you are.
Yeah. It's sarcasm and quick wit and things like that, and it's developmental.
Most of the people I know that were sheltered, ended up being like crazy into some weird fetish and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, all sheltered, and that was the thing, I guess, growing up. Because once I hit junior high and high school, and all these kids were getting to see South Park, they're like, oh, and they'd be all into it and quoting it. I'm like, calm down, it's just a cartoon. And they're like, no,
they killed Kenny.
But like they swear and they kill Kenny, and I'm like, yeah, I've been watching for 6 years, man. I get it, but we don't have to be all
You were the
hype on it.
hipster of South Park.
I was the hipster on everything like that kids weren't allowed to watch because I was already watching it, and my mom didn't treat it like it was a big deal, so I didn't care. Like I wasn't too cool for it, but I was like, yeah, it's a thing. It's on TV. We all seen it. You don't have to be weird.
I mean, I used to think I was cool because I watched Oz on HBO when I was a kid, but that wasn't. I just like turned it on and saw the shower scene and freaked out, but. It wasn't like, yeah, I'm cool with this stuff. I do this all the time,
Yeah.
But, like, when I went to college, I grew up pretty sheltered. And I remember when I was in a team meeting with my football team, I remember saying something about a play. And my coach looked at me and goes, you never used to curse, did you? And I was like, no, am I crazy? He's like, yeah, you're, like, saying the F-bomb every other word. And I was like, oh, because when you grew up in that way, once you have a little freedom, you're just like, okay, I didn't have the ability to say the F word before I was.
They're just
13.
like, yeah, now I'm ready to play GTA, motherfuckers.
Yeah, once I can say it, that's all I'm saying. Butts and fucks.
Yeah, let's kill some prostitutes now.
So what was the game that you probably spent in your entire life? The game that you spent just the most amount of hours on?
I would probably say, Sega when I was a kid, and then I moved to Arizona right as high school started. So like Tony Hawk and NHL 2000, I believe, for the PlayStation 2. My mom bought me a PlayStation 2 when she moved us from Minneapolis to Phoenix.
Okay.
That was like you're moving. Sorry, you don't have any friends anymore.
PlayStation 2, that was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2?
3.
Okay.
3.
Yeah.
Not to brag, I can beat it in 45 minutes. I don't know if I can anymore, but like there was a time where I was timing myself because I had no friends.
Have you ever watched some of those games done quick videos?
Yeah.
Like what's your opinion on those?
Like the people who can beat Mario 3 in like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
For charity.
For
yeah.
charity.
That's the.
Don't add in for charity.
It's for charity.
For the love of the game. What do I think of them? Now that I think about it, it kind of takes away because you're not actually like completing things. You're just getting far enough along to get to the next level.
I think we may have mentioned this on one of our previous episodes, but there was a Sekiro came out last year from Software.
Yeah.
And it was a great game. I won Game of the Year awards and stuff like that. It's very Dark Soulsy. And I think the game takes like 7-8 hours on a normal playthrough. And somehow these guys were able to go in and beat it in 28 minutes. And what happened is they actually like get out of the map and then they like swim beyond these areas.
Yeah.
And so what happened is IGN released a video where it's no, it's not. I'm confusing this with the Outer Worlds.
The other Outer Worlds. Yeah.
But I think
Outer
Outer Worlds. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad 2019 is over because we don't have to talk about those two goddamn games that have the same fucking name. But like it's kind of funny because the Outer Worlds is an example, but this Sekiro this playthrough it does in a way like hundreds and almost close to 1,000 people develop these games, they write it. There's a writer going, man, I want to make these characters engaging.
Yeah, and then someone's like, how could I just swim past all the story part?
Boring.
Yeah, I just want to be done and see credits.
I just want the gamer points for my profile.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like, I remember beating Arkham Asylum, the Batman game, and beating it and getting to the end, and it's like, you beat 64% of it. And I'm like, oh, I missed 30% of cool Batman stuff. And then I went back and played it again, and I was like, and then I beat it with like 90, and I was like, oh, there's so much I missed.
Yeah, imagine like
Sides,
going
like
through
side
the
quests
game.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, you go through the game and you feel really good about beating the game, and they're like, you got a D.
It's like studying nonstop for a test and like failing.
Like I'm almost on like one of the last 2 missions of Red Dead Redemption 2, and I finally went in to look at my progress, and I looked at all the missions.
73%.
Bronze on all of them. I think it's like 70-something%, but it's all bronze and like 1 or 2 silvers. I'm like, damn. And like, it would have been kind of cool if they would have let you know, hey, if you do this or do this, it's
No, you got to go back
you
and
gotta go
look
back
at it.
and play it. So I will
Gotta get a
eventually,
better
but
time.
it's like there's just too many games coming out.
Oh,
So
yeah.
speaking of like, I don't know if you want to keep going back or do you want to go forward or
We can just go over.
Let's go.
because there's a lot of stuff
Let's go
going
back.
on
So
this year.
I feel
that's
like
pretty
we
cool.
skipped.
we skipped the
we
whole
skipped Sega. Those Sega
skipped
was like
Sega.
very vague. It was just like Sega.
I love
I played
Sega.
Sega.
I played a lot of Sega. Sega was it was like Nintendo, and then when Sega came out, I got Sega, and then I didn't get a new console till PlayStation 1 came out.
Okay.
So Sega was a lot of it. I like Mortal Kombat, Earthworm Jim, Toe Jam and Earl,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Lion King game. If you guys remember that game,
Oh yeah.
brutal, yeah.
that game I beat it.
That's a rage.
Yeah.
Really
You
hard.
beat it?
Yeah.
No way.
I don't think
I remember beating it. What else? Power Rangers, Aladdin.
Aladdin, and I think the Aladdin and the Lion King are literally the exact same game. They just changed
Yes.
the sprites.
What's that game where you have the little green balls, but it's a Vector Man?
Oh yeah, Vector Man. It's a platformer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a bunch of green balls.
Yeah, he's like shaped like.
I
a guy,
played a lot of. I don't think I ever beat it, but I did get pretty far in Earthworm Jim.
though. Yeah,
That game's amazing.
that game's so fun.
The
So-
random cows.
Yeah.
Well done.
So did you miss the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation 1? Was that the hop that you made?
I got PlayStation 1. Sega to PlayStation 1.
Okay.
So, but I got PlayStation 1 late. I got PlayStation 1 as the Final Fantasy 7 bundle. So it was like
Okay.
2-3 years after it
was
came
that
out.
the big system?
That was like
Still,
1998.
like
Yeah.
because they came out with the PS1.
No, it was the big
tinier
one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 98 because I
Yeah.
remember I got Madden 98 as well.
I was unfortunately a Nintendo fanboy, so I never touched Sony.
Oh,
until,
really?
Like PlayStation 2.
I
and they, at the very end of PlayStation 2.
I would play like N64 and then Super Nintendo at friends' houses, so we'd play like Donkey Kong and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But I always
so
thought my Sega was so much better.
Yeah, when my friends had Sega, and I remember just going, look at all these fucking buttons. The controller's just ridiculous.
Dude.
And then you look at the N64 controller, and I'm like, what the hell's this?
Well, that's what I felt like because I just had the 3-button Sega controller, so I was like
Yeah.
A, B, and C, and then I get N64. I'm like, there's a
Yeah.
This is a keyboard.
I see. Well, as a kid, I always used to say
Looks like a bop
like
it.
when guys were
Yeah.
like, this controller doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, you just gotta, learn how to play it. I'd be like, real gamers would learn how to play it like that
Yeah.
or something. I was a fucking
Yeah.
prick when I was a kid.
Were you?
Not really. I just, I was very fanboyish, and there are times where you can
Yeah.
kids are tribal and stuff. Like when Xbox came out, I had a friend that got Xbox, and I got a GameCube, and then another friend got a PlayStation.
So you were the loser.
No, GameCube was cool for
GameCube
like
was cool.
certain games, but it
Yeah.
felt, and especially since we're all around the same age, GameCube felt like it was for little kids.
Yeah. Like Luigi, like the big launch game for GameCube was Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Loved it, great game. But
Yeah.
what was the launch game for PlayStation 2?
What was it?
PlayStation 2 had a lot more shooter, like driver, Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto might have. Grand Theft Auto 3.
yeah.
Yeah.
May have been the one, but like I remember like I really tried to justify, and then occasionally GameCube would come out with these released games that were later, like Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes, which was just a re-release.
Yeah,
of the older
which
one.
was great. So
Yeah.
like that one was great.
I had
and
Metal
then
Gear for the original set PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Yeah, that
And
one's
that
great.
was probably the first game I ever stayed up with friends. Like we stayed
Yeah.
up all night
Taking
and played it
turns.
for like a whole weekend, just taking turns to beat it.
That's awesome.
And it was like no sleep, bunch of Mountain Dews.
Wasn't it like 2 discs or 3 discs?
2 discs?
2 discs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that, like the game is too much to be contained on one disc.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, when
Final
we got
Fantasy
to the part,
9 had like 4, and then like Legend of Dragoon had like 6 or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember
yeah.
it was like maybe it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and it was like, please change disc.
you're like,
And we're like,
oh.
yeah.
Dude, it's like you're playing a box set. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Well, like some of those games would 30, 40 hours. That even then.
Yeah,
So
they're
that is
so
equivalent to like 3 or 4 seasons on a Netflix show.
But it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I think, because we're like the first generation that like got into games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from birth.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. Ever since I can remember, I have like a game. Like every year of my life is like associated with like, oh, that was my game that year. Like
I can't
could
think
have,
of
like,
any systems I didn't really like. I never played. Like I played Dreamcast, like Crazy Taxi and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that.
That's a good one. Did you play
Echo the Dolphin,
what's that Nintendo one? You put your Virtual Boy?
Virtual Boy. I can't do VR. I just learned this the other day too. Anytime I do VR, I get dizzy and throw up.
Oh shit.
And I did a VR at Dave and Buster's.
That means you like are the best person to do VR.
Yeah, it's great. I did VR at Dave and Buster's 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like they have this VR thing.
Which specific one was
The
it?
Men in Black one.
What unit was it?
It was the one that you have to pay $6 for.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think
It's
it
a
might be
new
just
one.
the
It's like
vibe.
brand new.
Yeah, it might be. Like
That's
one of those.
funny.
Okay.
But like,
He's like, it's so real.
No, because there is
I
like
had to take my headset off, and then I'm just sitting in a chair that goes like this, and my friends are all playing and shooting aliens, and I'm just like, I'm sweaty.
Just you doing cheerleader backflips in the back.
Yeah. And my buddy's just like, I'm kicking your ass in the score, and I'm like,
Your face
trying
is
to put
green.
it back on and play. I'm ghost white.
No, there actually is a small percentage of people that just their brain will not adjust to VR
My brain won't.
systems.
Yeah, I probably have that. But yeah, I did play.
We want to be sure though.
I played Mario Tennis on that. My friend Nick got it for Christmas. The Sega.
And the Virtual Boy.
The Virtual Boy.
Man, that was.
That's
my
what I
brother
played on
had
there
it.
too.
It
Yeah.
was-
It was just red. There
Yeah.
was no
Yeah.
colors to it.
Yeah.
It was just red,
You know what?
and it sat about this high off the ground. So like, he didn't have like a table in his bedroom, so we laid on the floor and like basically put your eyes against the floor.
Like-
Played it.
Like you're fucking helping out a sniper or something.
Yeah. Or the
3
watch.
clicks.
But oh man, like when I think about it, and it was only red and black, and like it had this. The 3D effect was
Yeah, it was like a
good,
depth.
but it was
field
very
kind of
2D
thing.
but 3D position. I do remember after playing that and seeing those red lines. You know what, man? The Virtual Boy is as if somebody was like, let's make a game console out of an acid trip. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
And that would be.
I think
It's a bad trip. It's all red.
Yeah.
It's a bad
This
trip.
is my
You know,
experience.
some people would like to pay money for this.
and some people did for Christmas, and then everybody was like, "This is dumb."
And because I was a fanboy, we got it, and I was like, yeah, Virtual Boy.
How many games did they come out with
It
those?
was like 3 or 4 of them.
And then they're like, "This console is dumb." It's like
you
when they
know-
came out with 3D TVs.
Dude, I actually, no joke, if I saw a working Virtual Boy, I would buy it simply on the novelty factor, just because it's now.
No one's stopping.
As horrible as it was. Remember, that was what, 1996?
If not earlier, it could have been 5.
95?
Yeah,
That's
it could have been earlier.
VR. That is like we think.
And then
we
no
think
one touched it again
Dreamcast-
until PlayStation 4 put one out a
you
year
know
ago.
what? I
Everybody
think
was like,
that's
"We're
why.
never doing this."
That's
again."
why no one did VR, because they're like, you really want to go back to the Virtual Boy? Even if the text, they were like, no. That's how bad the Virtual
They're like,
Boy.
"No one is gonna buy
It
this."
scared everyone away. But like when you think about it, like the Dreamcast was kind of ahead of its time because it's had some features here and there.
It had the little thing you could bring with you.
the memory card.
Yeah.
And you could actually click through, and you could play Snake on the memory
Yeah.
card, and that was like.
And you could like
so
upgrade some of your
futuristic.
Pokemon for
Yeah.
the Pokemon game. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the games, each game, Most of them participated, but each game had their own little mini game that you could play
Yeah.
on
the
there,
memory
which was
card.
pretty cool.
Remember memory cards?
Yeah.
You had to buy them, and then you could save your games.
Speaking of going back to Metal Gear Solid.
Oh,
That.
yeah.
Were you thinking that same thing?
Mhm.
I remember when I played the first Metal Gear Solid, Psycho Mantis was able to predict, like, go through my memory cards and see other games that I played and stuff.
Oh, really?
And
Yeah.
if you actually had a second controller plugged in, it would just vibrate the second controller, and we had it on the table, and you would just hear it go as I'm playing the game, and that it's just a weird little thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like they would tell you to put your controller into the second and play from the second player slot. Or
That's how
Yes!
you had to
Or
beat
else he'd
him.
be able to read your moves on the first one.
Yeah,
So
I remember
That's
that.
so cool.
That was just so.
That game was so ahead of its time and
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
So his newest one, Hideo Kojima's newest one,
Death Stranding?
Have you
I haven't played it
looked
yet.
in it? Did you hear that they're gonna make a sequel?
Ooh.
Already? They're already playing
Yeah,
it?
you get to
Damn.
play as the baby. It's gonna be called Look Who's Death Stranding 2.
What?
Is Bruce Willis voicing it?
I hope so.
I wanted to let you die in the bit, and then I wanted to make it fun. I was like, let's let him be
No,
embarrassed now.
that's okay.
Now tag it!
Yeah. Oh man. So
John Travolta's dad.
but okay, so you the Earthworm Jim
Yep.
on the Sega. You actually beat that game?
I don't remember if I beat it, probably.
So Logan and I were talking
My
about
mom had a
game.
thing where, like, there was a while, because we were poor, that I had to beat games to get new games.
Really?
Yeah, which I think she just knew that I would never do it, because there's no memory cards or saving. She's
No.
like, beat your games.
Well,
and I'm
didn't
like,
at that time they had passwords?
Yeah.
They had notebooks of passwords.
oh, yeah.
Like
cheat
Mega
codes.
Man X was like 9 characters.
I remember Mega Man
numbers.
because I had it written down in a notebook. Same thing with Sonic 2, so you could
Mhm.
pick levels.
That was actually really ingenious on how to create just a little short code.
Yeah.
As the password.
Well, that was the cool part about
we
like
were
the
the
magazines.
memory cards in those days.
Like you would go to the store and you would go to the magazine section and look at the gaming magazines to see if they had any
Yeah.
cheat codes.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
they would have the books like those 1001 tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Like I need these tips and tricks.
You know, you didn't have to get that book if you had Game Shark.
That's true, but you needed the Game Shark codes to input in sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
you could
yeah.
just plug the Game Shark in, and it was already all the codes there for you.
What was the thing? There wasn't a Game
Game
Shark.
Genie.
Game Genie.
That's
there
what
it
I'm
was.
thinking.
Yeah,
Game
yeah, yeah,
Genie. Game Shark was the book. Game Genie was like it had all the cheat codes built into it.
Yeah, Game Genie. Well, Game Genie was the one for Sega.
Yeah, you plugged your Sega game into it, and then plugged that into the Sega, and it cheat coded all of your games.
I forget which one it was. I think it was the Game Genie.
It was
where
the Game Genie for
you could
Sega. yeah.
export stuff out of the games, even like
Oh,
into modern computers
oh.
now and stuff.
I don't know about
Really?
that.
That's how some people rip stuff from the cartridges and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
I remember a friend of mine had one or the other, but I remember I don't know. I was a classical guy. That's the Konami code: up, down, left, right, BBA or whatever. The
AB,
Konami
AB
code-
or something.
AB,
Yeah.
That's where this guy. I remember he had a code, and he had the Game Genie or something like that, and the ability of what he could do. He could completely open up new levels and stuff like that. Kind of like what we did with GoldenEye, where you could go into the temple level and stuff. And then there was a level. He's like, oh, if I press this button, I turn into God. And I'm just like, is it really a game?
Where you're like,
anymore?
God's not
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
It's just yeah.
It turns. What's funny? You
It's
play
way
that.
too much. I
you-
like the challenge.
You play
Yeah.
that level and you're like, this sucks. And then you're just like, yeah, but it's cool that I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, this is
That-
terrible.
That's what I like about now, online gaming, because I play Call of Duty and I'll play Fortnite online. Is there is no codes.
Yeah.
There is no cheating. Everybody's on the same level, and it's like, see, this is more fun.
But wasn't the Call of Duty one wasn't it like pay to win or something, or what? Aren't some of those games pay to win? Like you have to.
I don't think
well,
did Call of
like-
Duty get pay to win recently then?
No, it's. I think there is a trend where a lot of games where if you want to upgrade to a certain level,
weapons.
you can
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
and get XP.
Oh no, it was Battlefront. Battlefront
was
was
a big one,
pay to
and-
win.
and
Yeah,
then,
and that
like
Okay.
Call of
ruined
Duty
it.
has a battle pass which works slightly differently, but the big thing that people didn't really like is the loot boxes. Is where you spend money and you think that it's going to give you something, and it's kind of
It's like gambling.
yeah, it's essential. It's some
Yeah, 'cause
countries
you can
are
get different
labeling
guns
as-
and stuff.
as gambling now.
Yeah, because you can
Yeah.
get different guns and things like that.
And when I play Rocket League and I would get a couple points where I could I press a button and I can open up a loot box because I would get like a free key or something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't have to spend any of my money, and I didn't mind that.
Yeah.
But for some people, especially like, we're talking kids who are very easily manipulated and stuff like that.
They're spending
And
the
they
money.
have their parents' credit cards. Like I don't know. I see these news stories of somebody, some kid racked up $800 on like some, mobile game. I'm like, you know what? I love children. I really do. I can't wait to have my own. But if I have a child that does that, I just, oh my goodness.
Don't put your credit card into
So
any of your
exactly.
kids' video
It's
game
like,
stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta be smart.
I've never bought anything for Rocket League. I play a lot of Rocket League, and then
Oh, Rocket Leaguers.
I did buy the battle pass for Fortnite,
Yeah.
but it's not like a free thing. Like you just get different skins and whatnot.
If you know what
If
you're
you level
getting,
up, yeah.
Like I don't mind buying if I want a tuxedo or something. Look, I did buy the DeLorean on Rocket League.
Can we high five on this podcast?
That is so cool.
Because I also own the DeLorean.
That's
on Rocket
the
League.
only.
What?
And then did you get the Batmobile now? Too?
Yeah.
The Batmobile.
Wow.
So the tumbler.
It's like $1.50.
Yeah.
It's not like you're spending
And-
a ton of money.
it's a
Hey,
dog.
I'm not hating, dude.
And you know-
I spend so much money on League of Legends.
Oh yeah, you
skins.
do.
Like way too much. Like I'll just like drop a 20 here and there. It's a free game, but I probably spent more on that game than anything else.
Well, that's the thing with Fortnite is like you buy the battle pass for like $10,
Mhm.
and then you get stuff for if you level up. And I'm like,
Mhm.
there's 100 levels. I need to get all 100 levels to feel like this $10 was worth it.
Yeah.
Hell
The
yeah.
adult in me and like.
But even then, like there are some when I'm on Steam, I'll see some like DLC, like for example, I was gonna get Planet Zoo, because I like the Roller Coaster Tycoon game and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I saw this; it was the regular one for $40, and then there's the deluxe edition for like $50. I was like,
Get
oh.
the deluxe edition.
And I was like, oh, what's the deluxe edition? Oh, you can have polar bears. That's it for 10 more bucks, polar bears.
Some people love polar bears.
Yeah.
They're going extinct if you
They
didn't
are.
know.
Well, not in that game. So there'll be.
Well, I don't like
always
to get the
there.
deluxe edition when it's just like you just get the soundtrack.
Yeah,
it's just the
that
game and the
sucks.
soundtrack. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Well, some games, the soundtrack, if it's a real cool soundtrack.
Yeah, it's true. Like if it was Hotline Miami.
Yeah, like the best video game soundtrack would like Vice City.
Yes.
The box set. I
Okay,
remember I had
similar.
that in high
We're
school.
saying similar things here.
Ugh.
Oh. Grand Theft Auto was really the game of all of our generation. It really taught us how the real world works. I've never driven my own car. That's what I'm saying. I just get in a car and then I turn it on.
I'm just
Yeah.
as soon as you
And then
say,
I drive
like,
it into a wall and then I get out and get another car.
And then you always take every turn at every corner
I've
at
never
full
taken
speed.
an exit. I just jump the ramp and I land in my house and then I go and then I go in my garage and it fixes the car.
I
Yeah,
remember,
exactly.
I remember when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out and it was very controversial. I remember a news article saying, in this game, you can have sex with a prostitute.
Yeah, you can.
And then beat her up, kill her, and take her money. And I remember
You
when
get your
I
money
read
back
that,
more or less.
I was like,
All of it?
oh, shit, you can do that too? I didn't know. And I was like, dang, I got to try that the next time I play the game. And it's not as like,
Yeah.
it's not as, it's not like it's not like the game is telling you, you got to put a bullet in that bitch's head or you don't get the points. It's like, okay, you can be very
You just have to have sex with her to get the points. Killing her, you get more points to get your money
Double
back.
points.
I remember when I was a big prude when that game came out, like I went and I like changed the camera and I wanted to see anything. And they sit motionless in the car as the car bumps.
Yeah, you don't get to see
Oh my God.
penetration. It's not like Duke Nukem where they had a cheat code where you could see boobs.
Really?
What? You guys didn't know what the Duke
I wasn't allowed to play Duke Nukem.
I don't know if it was a cheat code, but I know that you could like go up to the strippers and you would give them cash and they would like flash you, but it was blurry.
No, the blur went away with the cheat
Oh,
code.
the cheat code showed you the boobies.
Old was it 16
I
bits
did-
of boobs?
I did put a code in The Sims, so whenever they would shower, you could see them naked.
And then you just have a character that looked like you.
I just found myself staring at my own balls the whole game.
You're like, this is what I look like?
Was
This
it-
is
was it-
sad.
Girl in this
Wait, was
game,
there
you know?
actually like a penis or was it like a Ken doll
It
situation?
was mostly Ken doll, but then you
Nice.
could
Like
download
real
a
life.
mod. You could download a mod and make them have huge little,
Huge little-
tenderloin dicks hanging down. I mean,
Wow.
if you want to do
What a
that.
mod.
Yeah.
What?
Wow,
a
nerds
mod.
are the best, dude.
There's a will.
Nerds are cool.
Yeah. Just ask them for anything.
Yeah, you can really find
Nerds
it.
will put dicks on anything. Those fucking nerds.
Nerds will
Love
put
it.
dicks on anything.
They will,
The
dude.
Danny Flores story.
You guys ever played Postal or Postal 2? Those
I've
are
heard of 'em.
much.
I know.
Portal?
No,
No,
Postal.
Is it where you're postman?
No, it's where you go postal and you end up killing a lot of people and stuff like that. It's like you go for groceries and you go to the grocery store and you have to like murder people in the grocery store. It's very controversial.
Is it?
Wow.
What system is that?
I think
Isn't
it's on a PC. And
Yeah,
but it's also, I think
PC.
PlayStation was the first
Isn't
one.
it-
Does PlayStation 4
Like-
have it? Because I want it.
Okay, so the game was infamously extreme. Like it was trying to be that.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, and like there's a part where you could find a stray cat and you could shove an M16 up the cat's butt and use it as a silencer. It's that, and so when you shoot, it goes. Meow, 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 meow,
Oh no!
you know?
It's something I learned
It's
is don't mess with cat people.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
extremely.
the doc.
They'll get you.
But they don't have any news articles about that. Like so as a kid, I'm like,
Because it wasn't as popular.
well, that would be the thing. That was like I would be like, well, they're mad about this hooker, but they're not talking about shoving an M16 up a cat's butt.
But then, like,
And
think
so,
about the
me,
name.
as a kid, I'd be like, is the New York Times really showing their authority here?
But
They're not
there's
even-
way more hookers than there are M16s. Access to kids.
True. That is true.
If you have a bunch of money, a 16-year-old could buy a hooker. But if you have a bunch of money, probably can't buy an M16.
Is it easier to make fun of a game called Postal or Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto was the coolest game.
It's
Yeah.
just that the name's a felony already.
Yeah, because you're committing a felony.
Yeah, so like it's an easier target.
Like, if you're having a bad day, there isn't really a better game that's just made me feel better than just running up and stealing a car from some guy. And
But every mom in America assumes the opposite. They're like, you're having a bad day and you played that game, you're probably going to shoot all your neighbors.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
the funny part, I think, where Grand Theft Auto really kind of soared wasn't just like there were a lot of clones.
The
of
open
Grand Theft
world.
Auto. Well, not just that. That was always done by a lot of other people as well.
Yeah.
But where Grand Theft Auto had the perfect balance of serious and satire, to where when you would boost a car, you wouldn't just someone would yell or something. Sometimes when you'd boost a car, the person would say something kind of goofy.
They'd be like, hey, I'm getting groceries.
Yeah, what the fuck? And then for some reason, you're just like, that's fucking hilarious. And then that was enjoyable. But then there are some games like Saints Row, which kind of turn that knob way too much.
Yeah.
Where you can like ride a dildo with wheels and stuff like that. You're like, all right,
Yeah, that was like
I want some more.
that was like if
seriousness.
Michael Bay started directing
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto.
But did you ever play The Getaway?
Yeah, were you a getaway driver?
Well, The Getaway was, I think, Sony's Entertainment of America's response to Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
They were
I did
trying to
play
come
it.
up with their own.
It wasn't as open world, it was more mission based.
Oh, okay. But it was
So it was like
far
Driver.
more like the tone at the time.
Maybe
was
I'm thinking
far
of
more serious.
Driver.
Driver was more mission based.
I'm
yeah.
thinking
was
of
like
Driver.
that. But The Getaway was one where you're in London, and I
Oh,
remember
yeah,
as a
yeah,
kid.
yeah.
I remember as a kid there just knowing. I remember playing at Electronics Boutique, or something. It was like GameSoft, etc., or something like that.
Okay.
It was some weird obscure video game store, and I remember
Yeah.
the guy came and told me I'm not allowed to play because I wasn't 17, and I remember that was like, I was like accosted. Who is this? What is
You
this
have to be a
guy?
certain
Yes,
age to play video
But
games.
I remember that it was, because it was based in Britain. I remember
My mom would have thrown a fit, and
As
she
a
would have
kid-
went and been like, "No, he
No,
can play
I-
whatever he wants."
No,
He's
no,
not
my
a
mom
stupid
would've been-
kid.
they
My
saved the F word
son's
so much
gonna
in that
learn
game.
sarcasm.
My son's gonna learn how to say the F word properly and not be a 22-year-old who calls people "fuck" in the wrong tense, like an idiot. My mom just wanted me to be able to say shit right.
Yeah, that's good. I love it. How do you okay, thinking about going back to Tony Hawk,
Yeah.
how did you feel when they made the transition from like just loading up in a level and going up to everybody then
to like
the free roam and stuff
The
like
Underground?
that? Yeah,
I loved
yeah.
Underground. I thought that was a huge step up. And then they did that, and then they did Underground 2, I believe it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys played those games.
I
No,
got out
I
of the
didn't-
game
I
right
saw
around
them
Underground.
played. Okay.
My last one was 3, and then I was.
I think there was an Underground 2, and then the latest one they released was like back to the original beat the level thing.
Okay.
And I remember buying that for Black Friday and being done with it by the end of the
was
day.
it like American something?
Oh yeah, American Wasteland.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
another
that's what I thought it
that
was.
was another story-based one.
Okay.
And then the one after that, it was like just called Tony Hawk 5, and
Well-
it was the level-based. And then I played
Yeah.
it, and I was done with it for the day.
Didn't they?
And I took it back to Target. I bought it on Black Friday, and I brought it back Saturday morning, and I was like, oh, they already got it. That's my excuse. I always just want to bring stuff back to Target. And I was like, I was going to put the disc in for Christmas. The girl did not give a shit about my excuse. She was like, I'm just taking it back.
This is an open pack of meat. Yeah, they already got it. I opened it on the way home. I couldn't wait.
I was like, I bought this game and there was salami in it.
Bite marks here? You know, I do remember right around that time. See, I was a guy that played 1, 2, 3, and then after 3, it was such a big force in itself that you started to see all these, like the BMX one.
Oh, Matt Hoffman.
Yeah.
And then you had Kelly
Kelly
Slater
surfing, Shaun White snowboarding. Everybody got a game.
And then they even had ones that didn't have one called like Project 8 or something like that, but then they came out with ones that were called Skate.
Oh, Skate was different,
but it was
so much better because you had like flip sticks.
Yeah, it wasn't as arcadey. It was more like how people normally skate.
What was the one where it actually had a skateboard?
Tony Hawk Skateboard.
That was the name of it?
It was called Tony Hawk something, but you had it like
but
a
it was,
skateboard
was
the controller, yeah.
Because I remember right around 3 and 4, that was when we're getting the eras of you could like take a photo of yourself and put it into the game. And
yeah.
That was like mind blowing.
Oh yeah.
And
well, they do that with all sports games now when you create your.
Yeah. It's been like 10 years since I played a sports game.
Oh man, I play all the sports games.
So like football, NBA, like.
Football and baseball right now.
Okay.
And then NHL.
I need to get back into baseball because that's like, I don't know. I mean, I played it I loved it when I was a kid, and then when I was too fat to play baseball, like you're like, oh, play football, and that's
the game's super fun because at least MLB 2019, I think is the one I have.
The show.
Yeah, the show. You start and you create your character, and then you showcase, and then you get drafted.
Oh, so it's just like,
and then you start in you start in AAA.
It's like just straight RPG all the way.
Yeah, you have to build your guy up, and you have to go through the ranks to make it to the MLB, and then you have an agent. So like in the off season and stuff, you can ask for trades.
And then your
contracts.
girlfriend gets pregnant, and you have to deal with that.
Yeah, you have to quit baseball, and then you get a job at Costco for a while, but you still have a dream, and then you join a softball league.
You somehow commentate, small, stuff on FX, FSN.
You're just like ref in Little League. You're umping. Just umping.
Yeah. You're out.
Yeah,
make the right call, or the kids,
I had a big problem where my character hit 40 home runs as like a designated batter for the Dodgers. Then asked for a trade, went to Miami, had hit for 450 in 1 month. Player of the month, got traded back to the Dodgers, and they made me a relief hitter again. To call my agent, I was like, I need a fucking trade. He's like, how's everything back in LA? And I was like, I want to trade. I kept hitting that button. And then they traded me. I won the World Series.
I wish they had that element, that RPG element, but they remember NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
Why can't they have like let's be honest, when you're in the MLB, you're probably doing some dicey shit,
Yeah, cocaine.
I want to do a game where you're like,
where you can always charge the mound.
Yeah. I want to like. If it's open world, make it open world, man.
Blitz was so fun. So was remember NBA Jam?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's on fire.
It's got to be the shoes.
Yeah, it does.
And then when you get turbo, and when
you do the dunks from like half court. They'd have
That's so
in
good.
NBA Jam
That's
PE.
so
they'd have
good.
like the 9-point and 6-point shot balls.
Yeah.
You'd have to get those. Yeah.
Edition. Oh my god.
And I love that it was only 2-on-2.
Yeah.
That's so good.
It wasn't too many players.
Yeah.
It was always, and at the time there was only 2 teams. It was always
the Orlando Magic, and you'd be
the Bulls.
Yeah,
or the Pistons.
Or you would be I would always be the Seattle SuperSonics. You'd be Gary Payton, Sean Camp.
I'm not that big into
You lost us,
basketball.
dude.
Sorry,
Yep.
guys.
Yeah. You said names.
Gary
I'm sure they're great.
Payton. Is he related to Manning?
Yep. No,
Okay.
his last name's Peyton, and Peyton Manning's first name is Peyton.
I just thought that's how Peyton Manning liked to be called.
I just thought that's how Peyton's worked.
Wait, how many Peytons is he? Let's measure this in Peytons.
Peyton's forehead?
So what are you playing like right now? What's taking up all your time right now?
Taking
like
up
day-to-day?
all my time right
and
now.
you mentioned Fortnite, but is that? But how often are you? Are you like a daily gamer?
I'm so busy right now that I'd say most every day. But that's why I like Fortnite. That's why Fortnite has really earned a place at least in the last year since I've moved here, since I'm so busy with stand-up and stuff, that because Fortnite is so, like, it's 1 10-minute game, and that's kind of the beginning and end of it all. There's no story.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of fly in. There's 100 people. You try to kill each other, and once you die, you're done.
Yeah.
I can play that in between having to do stuff and leave.
It's like bite size.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, with the way you play, it's like a 2-minute game, right?
I've been winning a
You
lot.
just get out of
Do you
there.
play solos, or do you have like a group of? Are you like a?
My brother-in-law plays, and he has
Yeah.
some friends, so I'll play with them. But I usually play solo.
Because the experience of playing with a group of people you don't know, and then playing with people you all know like firsthand, is like that really makes the experience.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Because I tried to play a couple times with people I don't know.
So is it specifically Fortnite, or is it just the Battle Royale, or is it just the fact that it's just super, like you mentioned, Rocket League? Is it just the nice little small games?
It's the small games. That's what I
Yeah.
like about it. Because the
'Cause-
same thing with Rocket League, same thing with Disc Jam. If you
Mhm.
downloaded that free download on PlayStation, that one's fun too. But it's
I almost reminded me of Parappa the Rapper.
it's not
that
Parappa
game?
the
Yeah,
Rapper.
okay.
Super cool game though.
Just
kidding.
jam. Okay. I'll check it out. I just got a PS4.
Did you?
Yeah.
Cool. You're rich.
Yeah. Sure.
Did you get Last of Us?
Finally. Yeah, I got the
Did you play all of
digital
Last of Us
copy.
yet?
Nope.
Oh.
Haven't even started it.
You should.
It's like better than.
I'm
Netflix
playing
show.
Shenmue.
I think it's.
Did you cry at the end?
Oh yeah, hell yeah! I think I cried in the beginning. No, like when you think about it, okay,
Pre-tears?
this is a great perfect moment. It's January 2020.
Mhm.
Last 10 years, there have been some good whoppers of games that.
Yeah.
I don't mean just like, oh, this is a fun game. I mean like, this is just world changing.
The story is
you know.
amazing, especially Last of Us.
The Last of Us. I'm.
That's when I got back into video games. Was I bought the PS4. I had a surgery, so I was kind of bedridden for a little while, and I played Last of Us, and I just remember bawling and being like, "This is what video games are now."
Yeah. Every time there's someone who's like, I don't know what to play. I think Nick Ramiro, he just started playing a game again, but he got an Xbox. And like, when he asked me, what's a good game to play nowadays? I was like, Last of Us. That's what I recommend.
That's the game.
Everybody.
My brother just got a PlayStation. I was like, "Play Last of
Yeah.
Us. You'll get so sucked into the
And
story."
it's easy. It's my father. He's retired and he wants to start playing games now.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, you should. I was thinking Red
That'd
Dead
be-
Redemption 2.
That'd be good for him too.
But that's Red Dead's a little
Controller heavy, yeah.
Controller heavy. But The Last of Us is so simple and it's a great story. And stuff.
Uncharted also super fun.
Yeah, the same Naughty Dog, same
Yeah.
developers, and that style. It just the way the storytelling is, like fact that they're getting away from cutscenes and they're going more into just
You're
making
playing the story.
playing
Yeah.
as it
Yeah,
happens.
like God of
that's a
War.
big
Yeah,
trend.
like God of War.
The new God of War was.
and the new
super
Red Dead
good.
Redemption. All the cutscenes go right into when you're playing. Or
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
playing,
There's
and I think
there's
that's-
very small cutscenes in
Mhm.
Red Dead 2.
Mhm.
I just love it.
I
Yeah.
like Naughty Dog because I loved Crash Bandicoot.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Crash was the shit.
I bought the
Is-
Crash 3-pack. It's like $20, but it's like all the Crash games for
Oh,
PlayStation 4.
the Insane Trilogy.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff
Insane
like that.
Trilogy.
Yeah, they remastered and everything like that. Did you ever play Crash, the racing
Yeah.
the racing one? I was a
It was
Nintendo guy.
basically
Mario Kart.
PlayStation's Mario Kart,
Yeah.
and it did not.
Nitro Kart.
Yeah, but the new re-release, I think it's a great release.
Oh, really?
It's like I'll
Can you
have
play online?
yeah, they have a pretty good online community as well. But I have the game, and occasionally when my girlfriend brings her family over, I'm like, thank God I got that game for like the kids when they want to play, and it's really really kind of, it's like, to be honest, it's like one and the same of Mario Kart. That sort of group atmosphere that's competitive, but it's fun. It's accessible, but it's not too insanely hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mario Kart's always the best go-to when you have a group of people.
yeah.
No,
That's
my
the first time I've
favorite.
ever heard my grandfather say the F word was when we were all playing Mario Kart.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he was like, I just fucked grandma.
No. Now I'm gonna fuck you kids in this game.
This game brings the truth out here.
I'm going to call you Grandma Eileen because I just fucked you sideways.
Wow.
Like,
I'm
whoa!
I like Mario Party.
And
for
Grandma's
that, though.
Eileen's like, wow, you're such a butthole.
I love Mario Party 2, but then once they came out with the second one, then it was like 3, 4, 5. Where now it's like Mario Party 15.
Well, everybody wants to party. Come on, we need new ones. Hello, you're
Yeah.
not gonna keep going back to the N64 for the first one.
True.
You know, I feel like well, I recently just started playing a game called Pummel Party, and
Is that where
I
you
saw
just
your
smash stuff?
face. No.
All I can think of is a game where you just go bah 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 bah,
Yeah,
bah,
you
like a
smash
cutscene
your
in
friends.
like a cutscene in
in
Donkey
games.
Kong.
No,
Gotta-
it's
you
literally
gotta
just
fuck
like
this
a
guy
Mario
really hard.
Party clone, but you
Okay.
can play online.
All
on
right,
PC.
that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's alright.
Like they didn't have any like immature guys in the writing room. Hey, we're gonna call it Pummel Party, and no one was like,
No, it's like we
No
probably
one did
shouldn't
that.
call it that.
yeah. It's like, hey, why don't we
You
call it the Fisting Fantasy Fun Time? You know?
You ever just hanging with your boys and you're just like, well, I just want to pummel my boys.
Yeah,
dude.
all
Make
the
it a
time.
pummel
Dude, I'll
party.
pummel you. Let's pummel each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on.
That's
You
a-
can come over. We can pummel each
Hours
other.
of pummeling fun.
Hours of pummeling fun. Minutes of pummeling
Yeah.
fun.
Seconds,
yeah. Actually,
if
that's
you
more
will.
realistic.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Well, that happened.
you know, that's gonna be the future. Like
Pummeling?
the Fortnite in like 20 years, it's just gonna be like a virtual orgy, and 8-year-old kids are gonna be playing.
You mean like that? What's that show? Black Mirror episode
Yeah, that's exactly what it's
with
gonna
what's the name? Mackenzie.
be.
Don't know it. I don't watch it.
But it was the one where the two guys are playing with. It was the most recent one.
Yeah,
Like I loved how when people watch
Anthony
it,
Mackie. That's who it is.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie.
But it's Anthony. Here it is, Danny. It's Anthony Mackie and his friend, and they used to play a game that was basically Mortal Kombat growing up. And then this is set in the near future, and basically all you do is put a little like dot on your head, and then you're in the
Don't
game.
ruin it. He should just watch it. and
Nope.
No.
I'm never gonna watch it.
Yeah, Danny's never gonna
Probably
watch
never
it.
gonna
I want
watch
to
it.
ruin this for him.
Yeah.
So you put a little dot in your head, and you're in the game, and they're like, "Let's play a fighting game." So they start fighting, and then he's like, "Wow, this is real. I feel like I got punched in the face." And they're like, "Yeah." And then his friend kisses him right away, and he's like, "Oh, dude," and he goes, "Bro, you're a hot chick character, and I'm a hot dude character." And he's like, "Good point." And then they just bone.
If you would have told me that, I would have said that doesn't happen.
Oh,
And
shit.
then they just start boning all the time to where Anthony Mackie just basically stops boning his wife.
Damn.
And she's like,
dude.
"What's going on?" And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, "You're always just playing video games." He goes, "I just like video games." And then she's like, "It's me or the video games." So he has to stop playing video games. And then he stops being friends with his friend that he's boning all the time.
Yeah.
And then he has a birthday party, and his wife invites his friend, and he brings him the new copy of the game. And then he tells his wife what's going on. And then he has that's how it ends, is she gets to go on dates with dudes and bone them. And then he gets to bone his friend in the video
Very
game.
progressive.
I feel like my girlfriend wrote that episode of.
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. When they get in the fight, him and his friend, where he's like, "I can't bone you anymore in the video game because I love my wife," and then he goes, "Do you want to bone me in real life?" And then they kiss, and he's like, "Ugh." He's like, they try to kiss. He's like, "Ugh, gross."
So
And
this
they're
is the trade.
they're not gay
Yeah.
because he's a hot chick in the game, but they try to be like, "Oh, maybe we're just into each other," and they try, and they're like, "Nope."
I actually love this episode purely because when I would ask people, "Hey, did you guys see the new Black Mirror?" Like some people would be like, "Yeah, it was pretty good, but yeah, that one episode, what the it's like." I love how off the wall it was, and it was seeing people's reactions.
It was so weird because it was like, how far will we go into gaming? And I think we'll go that far.
Wow, dude. So it's like, but he's willing. He loves his digital fantasy sex so much.
He loves his
He's like-
digital character, like being in this, like not being himself. He loves being in this role.
Yeah. That he's willing to just like be like, okay,
Ruin his real
honey,
life.
you can go fuck other dudes in
In real
life.
life.
Just so I can watch this digital shit go down.
He's living the digital
Oh yeah,
shit,
he's living. He's living. It's the
He
dot.
looks down, he has boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh okay. Yeah. I just want some digital tits.
You have real tits.
I know. Well, I'm not him.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I'm happy with my real tits.
You should watch this episode and you'll be
Yeah.
like,
I
"Why?"
kind of want to now.
It's
kind of.
it's
I'm actually. You guys sold me on it. Actually, I'm excited for this. I'm coming, and oh wait, that's the wrong word that I wanted.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say
you
that
will.
word. I'm
I
gonna.
guarantee it.
I'm just.
Do you think
gonna
after that
watch it.
episode came out, like every video game company that was making VR was like, "We should stop making this so real."
Yeah.
They're like, "Can we scale the graphics back a little bit so people don't just only bone their friends?"
They I don't know if we're that far off because I did see
We're not that far off.
No, because like I did see on Steam the other day Steam is getting overrun with like.
Also, have you ever
sex
been on
games.
Pornhub? There's a VR category, and you can buy one of those $10 VR headsets that you just plug your phone
Whoa.
into.
Don't tell me that.
I had
Yeah.
no idea. Oh, man.
My
I
grandma
got a
got
lot of things
me-
to do when I get home.
my grandma got me a VR headset for Christmas, and like a little video game thing. You just like it's an app with your phone and a little controller. And then my brother bought that VR from me for $35 so he could watch porn.
Have you tried it?
What?
Have you tried it at least?
Yeah, but I'm bad at VR.
Okay.
I just got dizzy.
Oh, you just started throwing up, and then you're into weirder shit at that point.
I didn't start throwing up, but I was like, I'll see what this is about. And I was like, oh no, I'm so dizzy. Stop being on top. Stop being on top.
That's like a eunuch going to a prostitute. Like,
Yeah.
I heard this was supposed to be good, but I didn't have a good time. But I
Yeah.
tried. You know.
I don't know if my brother ever did. I think he just wanted it to do it, and then
Hey, you should
he was
ask
like-
him.
Yeah.
I did, and then he was like, nah, it didn't really work out. So I
Hey,
think
you
tech's not there. yet.
$35 though.
Yeah.
Well, like,
good.
if it was really good, would he be like, "Oh yeah, you should use it"? Or
Yeah, he's my
would be-
brother. He's not some dude I know from work.
Oh, okay. Some people are different. I don't know. My brother would never admit in a million years that he was like he could have a whole cache.
Are you
of it.
jealous
He would
of
be like-
Josh's relationship?
He would.
I think he's jealous of all of them. My mom didn't censor us, so
yeah,
we
I'm like,
could
this
just freely
guy
talk
grew up
about
in
that.
the fucking coolest home.
I did.
know?
I grew up in a really cool home.
Did you have guns and stuff too?
No, I just had a mom.
What?
Why would you have a gun?
Well, I had a bunch of guns when I was a kid.
Yeah, you grew up in Texas.
No, in Minnesota.
Hunting and stuff. My mom wasn't a hunter. My mom's a nurse.
Yeah.
But that means if she's a nurse, you could totally get one then. Because
She
like,
could
oh, I
she
can
could
take
buy
it.
a gun.
Oh,
She
okay.
also could buy probably a bunch of stuff she doesn't own too.
Mm.
She just didn't purchase those things.
Our priorities were just wrong.
I know.
The guns are cool. The guns are fine. You can keep. Don't you say fuck though. You know. It's
Yeah, we could say fuck, but we couldn't have guns.
Jesus.
Damn, dude.
Like if I like.
My mom only didn't want to like even like now that you brought up like with pellet guns and paintball guns. My mom wouldn't buy them for us because she knew for sure we'd shoot them in the house.
Like if I had a gun and I accidentally shot somebody and was like, "Oh fuck," my mom would be like, "What did you say?"
My mom was against it for the fact that she would have to clean stuff up.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't own a real gun because we couldn't own a real gun. But like I was like, I want a paintball gun. She goes, no. And I go, why? I want to play paintball with my friends. She goes, you play paintball with your friends 3 times, and then you shoot that shit in the house, and then I can't get the paint off the walls. And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
Totally
that's
right.
fair.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Smart.
what? You know what? I'm 12, and I get irrational because I am for sure going to shoot this in the house.
that is wisdom.
Despite as much as I want to lie to you, this is for sure getting shot in the house.
It's
And then it's going to be me and my brother trying to figure out how to get paint off the wall before you get home from work.
Did you ever have that wisdom, and did you impart that on other kids your age? Like when you were young kids, like one of you guys, hey, let's go like get a spray paint can and spray some shit, and where you were like, I don't think this is the wisest choice of our time. You
Yeah,
know?
that's
Were
why I
you
didn't
that
have a
kinda-
ton of friends.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I was like, guys, I don't think what we're doing is good because,
This isn't constructive.
yeah, I watch a lot of adult stuff, and this is kind of kid shit that's going to get us in trouble. And they're like, later, nerd. And then they go do it, get in trouble. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm missing out because I see the future.
I've been here before.
Little Buddha.
The so after the last 10 years or so, going into 2020, is there anything this year or the next year that you've seen trailers of? Or
I mean,
just
I'm going to get that new PlayStation.
the new PS5.
Yeah,
one?
it's coming out.
Yeah.
2020.
Was there any particular games that you're like, that's what I'm gunning for? You know?
No.
Like Cyberpunk or
Oh, that game looks cool. I did see that game.
what is like I should have checked
I
games
know.
coming out in 2020. to
Yeah,
see.
I didn't.
I'm still trying to catch up. I
Yeah,
have, like,
that's where
3
I'm at. I'm
games.
like, I don't know. Games will come out, and then I'll miss out on the games I want to play.
Like I just booted up The Witcher again last night.
You
And
said you were mad at the show.
No, I mean I think the show's writing's not that good, but I still love the lore. I
Ooh.
love the universe, and I'm so grateful that somebody at Netflix was just like, yeah, throw some like $20 million at the show and make it.
Yeah.
Even if it's the fact that sort of interest was able to create it. They're coming out with a second season.
Last
so-
of Us 2, I guess, is the next big thing that I want to
Yeah,
play.
That's one I'm for the new year,
Yeah, that's the one I'm really excited for.
and I forget that's only coming out on PS4 and 5.
Yeah, it'll come up for it. I mean, they're not releasing
Dang.
anything coming out on 5 yet. They're trying to, this is the whole thing with PlayStation and stuff. All these, whenever they announce a new system, it always takes an extra year for it to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like, we're coming out the end of 2020, and I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that happens.
I'm like, I have mid 2021
Well, they're
before I
getting
have
to
to
the
have
point
500
where,
bucks.
like games or like Xboxes and PlayStations, the architecture is getting very, very similar to where eventually it's only going to be who manages it, Xbox or Sony. I mean, they're the same software almost at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
there's things I hate about gaming too, though.
Like what?
I like.
yeah, give me what's the stuff that
oh
you just
yeah.
hate
Ooh,
about
fresh
gaming?
take.
Well, here's the deal, because like I said, I play a lot of sports games. I don't like that I have to buy a $60 video game because now the handkerchief on the outfield blows.
Wait, what?
Like they change between the show 19 and 20.
Oh, they only changed the date and stuff like
They
that.
changed the date, they changed the rosters that you can update
that's
online
it.
now, and then they update the graphics slightly. They're like, look at the outfield, you can see
Yeah.
the wind now.
Okay.
And it's like,
yeah.
it's like I have to buy a new game for that. You can't just make it I can't just pay $20 for an update. That's the thing that I wish the sports games at least would do.
Yeah.
Is since they come out every year, just be like, you could buy a new one, or for half the money, you can just update your old one.
That makes perfect sense because I
Yeah.
mean a lot of the development that's done on it. I mean,
But it's,
year over year is
Yeah.
so you
Small.
don't get much done.
no,
I mean, when you look at the Call of Duty games, for example,
they're totally
they take
different every time.
3 years to develop, but
Yeah.
they're staggered to where when they come out, once the game comes out, they've been working on it for the 2 years
Yeah,
previously already.
it's every November.
And so, like, yeah, I think, and especially like Call of Duty World War II, I think just had their last event. That game came out I think 2 years ago, and they just
Loved that game. That's the last Call of Duty I bought.
Yeah.
I loved it because it got back to basics. It got from like the super hyper jumping and stuff, which
Yeah.
made it feel like Halo, which I didn't really
Oh
like.
yeah. The walking on the walls or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't like any of that. I liked
Yeah.
just a straight up shooter.
And I just love killing Nazis, dude.
Yeah.
That's really like Wolfenstein was awesome,
Yeah, I like when Nazis aren't alive anymore. Remember that, guys? 40s.
Good old days. But I think that it makes perfect sense that if they're still if they develop a game and they come out with if a game developer can come out with I wish I could talk right now. They could come out with packages every couple months. Like Fortnite used to have these community events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They can easily do that on a certain title for a year or two and just prepare the next one. They don't have to do a yearly release. I agree with you.
Like
on
if I bought Madden, like why didn't they just call it like Madden Forever,
Yeah.
and then I paid $200 as opposed to $60, and then I just get the new one every year.
I mean, I could totally see like the way the games as a service now, like the way Fortnite is operating. It was extremely hard for Fortnite to get to that. The only way that Fortnite was able to get to free to play is Tencent came in and gave them so much money that they just said, okay, that covered their entire bottom line.
Well, because they're also battling another free game that came out at exactly the same time. That was the same thing, which was like, what is it?
PUBG.
Oh,
PUBG. Yeah.
Well, PUBG was
yeah.
out first, and it's not free. It's $30.
I thought PUBG was free.
No,
I had a lot of
PUBG's
friends
30
do that, but I skipped
no,
it 'cause
PUBG was $30. And then first it came out on H1Z1,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that was
And
the
then
one.
so
Oh.
Player Unknown, or from what I understand, he was like he designed that mod, right? That made the Battle Royale mod on H1Z1. And then from there, they weren't updating the game as much as he wanted to, so he just went off and made, Player Unknown's Battleground separately.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, "Wow, Battle Royale fucking kicks ass. Let's all make our own version of it."
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then Fortnite came out.
Yeah, and then Fortnite came out, but they added the the building of the houses or whatever.
I don't do any of that.
You don't,
Nope.
and you still win,
Yeah, I treat it like a shooter
and you still win.
because I think it's because I'm old school shooter guy.
Yeah,
So
impressive.
yeah,
It is a good shooter. I
so
mean,
yeah, I treat
IB
it like
makes
Call of Duty.
right? Or wait, Epic makes it, and
Yeah.
the mechanics on it are solid.
Yeah, I treat it like a shooter. So while this guy's building, trying to hide from me, just hitting me here and there,
Yeah.
I could
Like
drink the potion or do like a med check and then just fire at him
Yeah.
nonstop and keep switching my guns out.
These guys are like
Damn.
Amish on meth, just barns straight up in the sky.
Yeah.
That was the thing
Yeah,
that
that was
actually
the
got me
turnoff
out
for
of
me.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
I started playing it, and I just was like, okay, stairs.
Yeah, you don't have to do any of that.
Stairs. And
As
then I'd
long as
see
you have
people
grenades, as long as you have grenades, you can blow it up and then they'll fall and they'll get hurt and then you shoot them.
See, I'll
Better
be
get
honest.
grenades. Yeah.
I'm a big. Say when I was a kid, I loved playing Medal of Honor Allied Assault.
Yeah.
That was before
Ooh.
Call of Duty, and that game.
Did
like,
you ever play SOCOM online?
No,
that was the first.
That was a
that was
PlayStation
the
game. I
first
never played that.
PlayStation 2 online game. You have to buy a special pack to
Headset
plug
and
into the
everything.
back of your PlayStation,
Yeah.
and it sucked and it lagged, and you're spending like an hour getting it set up to play like 40 minutes of straight game.
Right around that time, I do remember my brother was one of the people who jumped in on Final Fantasy 11,
Okay.
and that was on PlayStation 2 and it was online and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did he have the keyboard? You have to have
I think
the keyboard,
so,
right?
even for the PlayStation 2. And I remember going, "Whoa, this is so cool." But then after he played it, he was like, "No, it was not. It was not cool." But
Some people still
PlayStation
love
kept
that
trying
game.
to introduce online before they were ready.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people wasn't there Sega Genesis had some Mortal Kombat online play.
I don't know if it was online.
But
So
that
what
was so
Sega
niche.
had,
Was it LAN?
Um,
You could plug into another Sega?
no, Sega was ahead of the game on another thing, where they had
Sega
this
Saturn.
thing called Sega Channel. I don't know if you guys heard of this. So it's Sega Channel. It was almost like it was you would connect it to your cable, and it was like video game streaming, like Netflix, but for video games. And they're barely starting to do that again now. But Sega Channel you would pay a monthly fee, and they would give you like 100 games each month
Wow.
that you could choose from and just play.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I feel like Sega was like the Inspector Gadget of the consoles.
Yeah.
Sega.
You know, like Sega. You know, they had a name for everything.
Sega Saturn.
I was like before we
Sega
had this
CD?
podcast. I told Dana, I was like, I gotta refresh up because like, right there's this like era where there's all these different types of Segas, and I know some of the differences, but then I know that's like Sega Master System and Sega Genesis are the same thing.
Yes. There was just the
You know.
bigger version, and then they came out with the little, kind of like PlayStation 1, and then the PlayStation.
The
PlayStation and
clamshell
PS1.
one.
Yeah.
The PS1 were
Yeah.
the same thing, but
Oh, I remember it was a tiny little
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And you could get the screen that goes on
And
top
guys
of
would
it too.
put it in their cars, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the fucking.
That's so tight.
yeah, that was on
And-
Pimp My Ride.
And then Fast and the Furious, right? They're
Oh,
guys
yeah.
playing and stuff. I remember just like
Remember the Fast and the Furious video game?
No. I think I remember seeing it.
I forgot what it was called. It was
It's
called,
called
like,
Midnight Club.
Yeah,
That was-
Midnight Club.
I don't know if that's not.
No,
Fast
Yeah,
and
it is.
Furious.
that was a midnight. That wasn't Fast and Furious, but that was Midnight.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
an
They did come out
awesome
with the
game.
Fast and the Furious game, but
Midnight,
Midnight
Club
felt
was
closest.
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Basically, it was so cool.
What
Yeah.
about?
I had it for GBA.
What about Need for Speed Underground?
Yeah, all of the
yeah,
Need for
dude.
Speed games.
I was just playing. Miles Spagnola came over, and we were playing Forza, and I was like, I'm not a big racing game guy.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoyed how he started playing a mission, and I saw a friend of mine's username on there, and I was like, oh shit! When you're playing the single player, one of my buddies jumped in. No.
Oh, really?
I texted my buddy. I was like, dude, you're playing? He's like, what the fuck are you talking? I haven't played Forza in months. His save games, his times.
Oh, it's like a ghost car?
It's a ghost car, and so I'm playing against
Oh.
all of my friends
Best
in each
times.
night, and I'm like,
That is
that
cool.
so cool. Even when he wasn't there. Now, if I
Yeah.
run into him, it's gonna take AI to put him back on the path.
Yeah,
But
he'll still finish in the time he finished
blown
in.
away.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome.
That's cool.
That
No,
was
I
really
was
cool.
here with you, and
Yeah.
you were like, that guy.
I thought that was him
You
playing.
were like, he's stalking
that
me.
wasn't him. That was his. Yeah, that was. his
That's
thing.
really cool.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
so
really, really cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, oh shoot, oh Need for Speed Underground. You know what I liked
Yeah.
about it? They had some cool music, dude.
Yeah.
They had the Doors and stuff like that.
Well, I was gonna go Story of the Year.
Hell yeah.
Until the Day I Die. That
Yeah.
song was on there, and they had Little John, doing his thing on there too.
What do you mean the rapper?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
just
I
a
was thinking the
go.
guy from
No,
Robin
just some
Hood.
guy, some
Oh.
tiny little John.
Oh.
uh,
Before I ever moved to LA, Need for Speed Underground 2 was where I really kind of had that. I got that tourist kick out of me, because there were so many times I'd go down into the LA riverbed and then shoot up over and then be right near Staples Center.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Right
And,
down.
and I remember just like, oh, so this is LA. And so now after playing all that, I drive over here and I go, I don't give a fucking shit. Like,
Well-
I drove a car down through that fucking river. I don't care.
Well, that's
you
the same thing with GTA 5.
Yeah.
GTA 5 is LA. You can
Yeah.
drive to your house.
Yeah. Yeah. Long Beach has got a little by the port and stuff. There's
Yeah.
got a little.
You could probably
spot
get
there.
here.
Yeah. Maybe. But yeah, I still like. Oh man, I'm just thinking about Need for Speed Underground now. See, racing games, like, to be honest, like, it's just, they're very simplistic, but there was just something specific about going and customizing and tuning your car, and it wasn't just coat of paint, blue wheels or this or carbon fiber here, you could really spend hours
Oh,
just
yeah.
tweaking your
Yeah.
car, and I loved it.
Well, that's the
Change the smoke when you
Yeah.
press the NOS and stuff like that.
Dang.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, I would add a bunch of tribal tattoos on my car.
Yeah.
My car would look like a tramp stamp, like just roll around town.
Like I
your
remember
car
when
is Vin Diesel.
This guy fucks.
I remember one time when I was getting bullied when I was really young. I remember in
You
my
showed
head,
people
I
your
had
car?
the thought. No, I had the thought thinking. I'm embarrassed to even say this. I had the thought in my head going, if only these fucking guys saw my car.
Like
It's
we
kinda
see
like
your
this-
value,
remember, what was that
Logan.
movie, American Graffiti?
Yeah.
Where the guy's like, if only I had my Roadster. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. And then he finally comes out and flames are shooting.
Yeah.
What the you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you did that in the digital
game.
world,
Yeah.
and those guys are probably still cooler than you.
Probably.
I think that's why I got into Tony Hawk though, because I moved from Minnesota to Arizona with skateboarders.
So do you know how to do kickflips and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
Okay.
I can skateboard. I'm a skateboarder.
Yeah, I was a skater too. Did you skate?
I have no idea how to skate.
Dang.
Now I was not a skateboarder, but those finger skateboards you could
The
buy,
Tech decks?
I was fucking
Wow.
awesome at those. You know,
Bro.
Alright.
It's 10 toes.
All right. You might as well just ask people to go check out your car on Need for Speed Underground.
I don't get why you were picked on.
Not at all. Speaking of Tony Hawk, you know what's weird? So Tony Hawk also had really good music.
Yeah,
Had such good music.
I think that's how I got into music.
yeah, just
Because,
like
like,
listening it to it,
Power
like
Man
what is this?
5000, 99 Red Balloons.
Yeah, from
Bulls
Goldfinger.
on Parade by
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they didn't have that soundtrack, I probably would be like a big pop. I'd probably be a big fan of Drake right now.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Probably the new Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that
the new
if
Tony
there
Hawk
is
that they're
one.
making. I don't want to leak this because I know Tony Hawk personally. It's called Tony Hawk 7 Drake's World. It's not. Here's the problem with it though. Like, it's not going to be your traditional Tony Hawk game, so there's no skateboarding involved.
Yeah,
You're just Tony Hawk the
Yeah,
man.
you're running his errands.
And then you just take his kids to go see Drake in concert.
Yeah.
And then you tell a security guard that you're Tony Hawk and he has no idea who you are because he's only 26.
You know, Birdhouse 900.
Yeah, I had video games. He's like
Back of the line.
Fortnite, and they're like, he's like, I have my own video game. He's like, we all got our own video games. It's 2020. And then you don't get to meet Drake, and your kids hate you, and they go live with their
and
mom. That's how the game ends.
And
It's
that's
That's a
sad.
great game.
D. And you're like, oh shit.
Tony
You know?
Hawk 8. My kids are living with their mom.
Do you ever feel like it's a little weird? Like,
Do you ever feel like it's weird that if Tony Hawk listens to this, he'd be like, fuck Josh.
oh, totally.
And he'll send me a picture of him with Drake.
Or he actually releases that game.
Yeah.
He's like, that's a great idea.
And then he just sends me a picture of his checks he gets from it.
Yeah.
He's like, I have $1 million about taking my kids to see Drake.
I didn't even pay to see Drake.
And I'm like, I'm
Got
still
so sick of
stuck on the level where I'm trying to park.
Parallel.
It's at the Forum. You know the parking there sucks.
Yeah.
All these skaters are in the way.
And he has an SUV, but they're all compact spots.
Yeah.
After the mission, cars was broken into. Damn it, now my skateboards are gone. I gotta buy new skateboards.
I'm out of gas. Get out. We'll push it.
I wish to be honest, like I've had dreams where I wish they could just take all these different games and like put them together to where like you could have like an open world Grand Theft Auto, but then if you suddenly, have a mission that you're good enough, the game will turn into like Madden 2020 or something like that.
So, like a Forrest Gump, the video game?
Yeah.
Dude, if Forrest Gump came out okay, imagine Forrest Gump as a video game, but in the fidelity of The Last of Us. Would you play that game?
Yeah, because there'd be a whole level where you're a football player. There'd be a whole level where you're in Vietnam. There's a whole level where you get AIDS. There's
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 a
a
side
whole-
mission where you're Lieutenant Dan sliding down in your wheelchair.
there's
on
a
the
whole
ice.
level where somehow you're in the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Remember the part of
Somebody's gotta
that
make
movie
that
where
game.
Jenny
Someone's
was
listening
getting
to this.
gangbanged by
Yeah.
the Black Panthers?
And if you somehow do the right quest, you can join in.
Yeah.
That'd be a great.
And then there's a part where you show the president your butt.
You have to run across America and you have to tap A for like 30 hours.
And And then
almost to the coast.
when your thumb breaks, you just go, I'm tired. You turn around and go back.
Yeah, once your controller breaks, then the mission's over, and then the next mission starts.
And then you're just shrimping.
Shrimping, dude.
Gosh, why don't I work
love
for a
it.
video game companies?
Hey,
Pick
yeah,
me. I want to make movie video games for movies that don't need video games.
that
Great idea.
that-
What's another movie that would be an awesome video game that people wouldn't think of?
Benjamin Button.
Life of Pi.
Life of Pi would be great.
It-
It'd be good.
How long is this? A 30-hour game? You're just
It's not a
doing the whole
30-hour game.
You know what? There is a game. It's called Raft.
Oh yeah, it just
It's
came out.
just
recently,
like
yeah.
Life of Pi, where you're on
Wait,
a raft
no.
and you have to survive. What's it called?
Wait, it is called Raft,
Raft.
but it didn't just come out. It's been out for a
It's been
little
for a
while,
couple
right?
years.
Do you
yeah.
have a tiger?
It's still on chapter 1.
Could be.
Did you know that?
Oh, is it one of those early access?
It-
games?
yeah,
It's never
and
gonna
there,
get
it's
released.
just it's supposed to have multiple chapters. It only has one chapter.
Yeah.
It's been out for years.
Yeah, that's.
But it's one good chapter.
Yeah.
Is
You
it?
know? I don't know.
I know that
Oh,
there's
well,
a
friends
shark.
of mine
Like, you have a
just got
shark
it.
attack you, and you have like a stick, and it's. The screenshots looks. That's how I judge a
Ooh,
game.
I'm Broken would be a good game.
Screenshots. Ooh, I'm broke. There's actually a game.
Because you're an Olympiad and then you're a POW.
There's a game called
Ooh.
No Joke, and this is I've actually been trying
There's a
to.
game called No Joke?
No, they're
Tight.
you know what? I think there actually is a game called No Joke, but
There's a stand-up game. I
there's
know
a game
exists.
called This War of Mine, where you're a father living in like a war-torn city that's very similar to like Aleppo in Syria, and you have to survive in the rubble as you have a sick daughter, and the buildings are like collapsed from missiles and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like
is that the side scroller one?
Yeah,
I
it's a
think I've
side-scroller.
looked at it. I've wanted to play
I've
it.
seen it. It looks like it's too stressful.
It,
That's why I don't
no,
want to get
like
it.
I play it, and I'm like, this is interesting, but the whole time I'm playing it, I'm just like, and this is very fucked up, you know? It's like, it's enjoyable, but it's like,
You know,
I feel like I could never pause it or like leave because I'm like, oh, this daughter's gonna die
yeah,
if I like
it's
have to
real.
pee.
Yeah, so I you know, like, why can't the mission be like, go to the grocery store and come back? But now it's like, we have to find water for my daughter in the abandoned building, or there may be some rebels that might kill me or something. It's like, yo, dude, like,
that's how it
it is a very
dude.
stressful
That's
game.
how it is,
you know?
man.
Sounds like it's not how it is, Danny.
That's how it is over there in the world of his
Yeah.
war of his.
But anyway, we're at about an hour 10.
Hell yeah.
You have any shows coming up?
Yeah, I have my monthly show, The Awkward Show, at the Virgil, January 18th, with my good friend Brittany Ross. We run the show together. We're gonna have Chappelle Lacey and Francisco Ramos on it,
Right on.
and then it's every month. So check us out at, I believe it's Awkward Stand Up on Instagram.
Awkward Stand Up on Instagram.
At Awkward Stand Up.
Yeah.
Danny, do you have anything?
Yes. So my monthly station wagon show is going to be on Friday in Echo Park at the 1172 Art Lounge. So you should just double up, come to my show Friday, and then you can go to Josh's show on Saturday. Pretty close to each other, So that's going to be exciting. What about you?
I don't really have anything this month, but next month maybe. But yeah, I'm really fucking chilling this month right now.
Just find us all on social media
just
because
find us on social media.
we're
Not
always
Too
adding
Mild,
shit. We're in
Josh
the city.
F Comedy and Danny Eat World all on Instagram. You want to end us out, Danny, or do you have anything else? Or
We love you.
Keep gaming.